Ladies and gentlemen, and my dear friends, welcome to Tata Crucible, the Campus Quiz 2021. This year, the Campus Quiz is going to be an entirely digital experience. Thousands of you have been part of the preliminary rounds, from which we are now down to the 24 cluster rounds. The stage is set, and it just does not get bigger than this. Presenting the wildcards at the cluster rounds is the only lady professional quiz host across Asia, a lady who was among 40 under 40 in the year 2020 in that list. A prolific host, no new face to Tata Crucible. Time for you to welcome on stage Miss Rashmi Furtado.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tata Crucible Campus Quiz 2021. I'm about to start the first wild card of the second cluster from Maharashtra. So let me introduce our contestants to you and then get into the questions. First up, we have Prajot from College of Engineering, Pune. Following him is Sarthak from SLS, Pune. Up next is Samahid from SLS Pune again. That's the law school from Symbiosis. Moving on, Vikas from SCM HRD. Kedar from SBS. That's Singhad Business School if I'm not wrong. And completing our lineup here today is SIBM Meet from SIBM Pune. Alright, there you go. There are our contestants. Rules of the game. +1, -1 the scoring pattern. 3 out of the 6 of you will qualify to that cluster final. Audience, your questions, which are the audience questions, will appear only during the cluster final. Also, the buzzer indicator light would not be appearing for the wild card. However, I will let you know on who has pressed the buzzer. Guys, good luck to all of you. Do well. The buzzers are set, and let's start with the first question. Good luck to all of you. Here we go. In 1871, Cecil Rhodes and C.D. Rudd formed a company. It is today one of the biggest players in the gems industry. Rajot, go ahead.
So I'll say this is De Beers diamond.
+1. Absolutely right. De Beers gives him that +1. All right, let's move on. Question number 2. Here we go. In German, the name of this company means little nest. Name the company. It's an easy one. Little nest. Kedar, go ahead.
Nestle.
+1 on that. Nestle is absolutely right. Let's move on. Question number 3. The original firm was a chain of penny bazaars founded by Thomas and a Jewish immigrant. His name Michael, and it was founded in Leeds. What am I talking about? H&M or Marks and Spencer's? Samahid, go ahead.
Marks and Spencer's.
+1 to you. Absolutely right. That gives him a +1. Moving on. Question number 4. Laura is a car model from which company? Rajot, go ahead.
Skoda.
+1. Beautiful. +1 on that. I'm only done with the first 4 questions, and everything on all the questions they have scored already. Good quizzers. Let's move on. Question number 5. Which Indian company took over the Singapore-based Nat Steel? Sarthak, go ahead.
This is Tata Steel.
+1 to you. Absolutely right. Moving on. Question number 6. Who launched a bike for women named Pleasure? Vikas, go ahead.
Hero Honda.
Absolutely right. I give it to you. +1 on that. Moving on. Question number 7. Here we go. In 1806, they opened up a soap making concern in New York. It was not until 1830s that the company began selling individual bars in uniform weights. In 1872, they introduced the Kashmir bouquet. Sarthak is on the buzzer. Go ahead.
Colgate.
Colgate Palmolive, absolutely right. Taking a +1 on that is Sarthak. Moving on, question number 8. Here we go. The FMCG giant Hindustan Lever set up swirls outlets in select malls across the country for which of its brands? Sarthak, go ahead.
This is Quality Walls.
+1 to you. Absolutely right. Swirls is the ice cream brand, which is the Quality Walls. They have the outlets called Swirls. All right, scores are very interesting. Prajot is on 2, Sarthak on 3, Samahit, Vikas and Kedar all on +1 apiece. As far as I'm concerned, this quiz is going on very well. And I think it's safe to say that Prajot and Sarthak have made it to the cluster final. Unless, of course, Prajot takes multiple negatives, which I don't think he would. But it's safe to say that they are through. But the last slot is still remaining. Let's see what happens. Question number 9. Here we go. Which company was founded in 1985 as Quantum Computer Services, an online services company by Jim Kimsey from the remnants of Control Video Corporation? Quantum Computer Services, I thought, was a good clue. Oh, no one trying on that, and the time is up. The answer I was looking for was AOL, America Online. That would have given them that +1. All right, the last question of this wildcard. I think I'm headed towards a tiebreaker unless, of course, one of them takes the question. Question number 10, here we go. Which global telephone directory was founded by Alan Mamedi and Nami Zaringalam from Stockholm in 2009? Something that Vikas, go ahead.
Is it Yellow Pages?
Oh, -1 on that, Vikas. The answer I was looking for is Truecaller. I was just going ahead to give you a clue saying it is something that we use or install on our phones. All right. With this, ladies and gentlemen, Prajot and Sarthak have made it to the cluster final, but I have to identify the third person who will take that third slot in that cluster final. Tiebreaker is between Samahit and Kedar. Good luck to both of you. Sudden death, guys. One of you gets it right, you move in. If you get it wrong, the other person moves into the cluster final. Okay? Good luck to you. Let's begin. Jabong was taken over by this company for $70 million US. Samahit, go ahead.
Mintra.
-1 on that, Samahit. Flipkart. Flipkart would have given you that +1. All right, Samahit losing out on the tiebreaker. I think I've seen him quiz before. His face is very familiar to me, but sometimes it's just not your day. Kedar makes it to the cluster final, joining Prajot and Sarthak. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. The second wildcard is coming up in just a few minutes. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tata Crucible Campus Quiz 2021. We're about to start the second wild card of the second cluster from Maharashtra. So let me introduce our contestants to you and then get cracking with the wild card. First up, we have Manish from NIBM. Following Manish is Ishan from SIBM Pune. Saksham from SIBM. Anirudh from SIBM, Ajinkya from SIIB. Ideally, Ritvik from AFMC would have completed our lineup, but unfortunately, he couldn't join us today. So let's move on. The rules of the game, +1, -1, the scoring pattern. 3 out of the 5 of you will qualify into that cluster final. Audience, your audience questions will be asked during the cluster final. and the buzzer indicator light will not appear in the wildcard. However, I will let you know on who has pressed the buzzer. Rest of the rules have been explained to the contestants already, so let's start the wildcard. Good luck to all of you. Question number 1, here we go. Which meat product made by the Hormel Foods Corporation gives its name to a term that is associated with unsolicited junk in the world of messaging? Messaging or emailing, both. Or Ishan, go ahead.
Spam.
+1 to you. Absolutely right. Spam gives him that +1. Moving on, question number 2. Which company's name was chosen from the Chinese board game named Go and is used in Japanese when a prediction comes true or when someone wins a lottery? Very well known company. All right, no one going on the buzzer there. The answer I was looking for is Atari. Atari would have given you that +1, not an unknown name. Moving on, question number 3. Which technology was developed by Rare, a Microsoft subsidiary, on a range camera made by an Israeli company called Prime Sense? I'll give you options, Bluetooth or Kinect. Saksham, go ahead.
This is Connect.
+1 to you. Absolutely right. +1 on that. Moving on. Question number 4. If P&G owns Pampers, who owns Huggies? Two very well-known brands. Ajinkya, go ahead.
Henkel.
-1 on that. Ajinkya, the answer I was looking for is Kimberly and Clark. Moving on, question number 5. Here we go. Founded in 1919 by Isaac Carasso in Barcelona as a small factory producing yogurt, it owns the brands Volvic, Evian, Latella, Actimel, Lou, etc. Which company or whom am I talking about? Very, very huge name. Global presence. Alright, I'll give you options. PepsiCo or Danone? Manish, go ahead.
Danone.
+1 to you. Absolutely right. I thought that should have easily helped you to narrow it down. Moving on. Question number 6. Here we go. Kisan Card, the first ever credit card for farmers, was launched by which bank? IDBI or HDFC? No one going on the buzzer even with the... Oh, Ajinkya, go ahead.
It's IDBI.
-1 on that. Ajinkya, HDFC would have given you that +1. They are the ones who introduced the Kisan card. Moving on, question number 7. Here we go. Which brand derives its name from the Japanese god of mercy? I'll give you options. Nikon or Canon? Anirudh, go ahead.
Nikon.
-1 on that. Anirudh, Canon would have given you the +1. 3 more questions remaining. The score as of now, Manish, Ishan and Saksham are all on 1 apiece. Anirudh just took a -1 and Ajinkya is on a -2. Honestly, both of them can easily make it up even at this point in time. Let's see what happens. Question number 8. Here we go. The popular Viking Navy running shoes, Viking pronounced as YKING. These shoes offer optimal responsiveness and energy return. They're flexible and ensure utmost comfort. Which brand has created this, Nike or Adidas? Ajinkya, go ahead.
It's Nike.
-1 on that. Again, Ajinkya, Adidas would have given you the +1. Adidas or Adidas, however people pronounce it. I often believe that if you give options, it actually complicates life, but quizzers believe that it helps in narrowing down the options, but I don't understand how. Anyway, the 9th question, here we go. Which brand would you associate to Shri Sant Kripa Appliances? a household object really, or something that we would use as an essential in buildings? Oh, no one going on that. The answer I was looking for is Siska. Siska Lighting Solutions, the lights, that would have given you a +1. The 10th question of this wild card. Here we go. Eureka Forbes is a part of which famous group of companies in India? I'll give you options. Wadia or Shapurji Palunji? Anirudh, go ahead.
Shapurji Palanji.
+1 on that. He gets a +1. You're done with the 10 questions, and scores as of now is Manish, Ishan and Saksham all on +1 each. And with that, they have made it to the cluster final because Anirudh came back to nil because he could not take the previous question, and Ajinkya is on a -3. So Manish, Ishan, Saksham, you qualify to the cluster final. Congratulations to you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. The cluster final is coming up in a couple of minutes, so you stay tuned.
Friends, put your hands together to welcome on stage Quizmaster Big Brain.
Hello to everyone and a warm welcome to each and every one of you from me, Pig Brain, as we welcome you to the second cluster within Maharashtra here, a very competitive one, and Maharashtra itself is an outstanding state when it comes to quizzing. When it comes to education, it's not just about quizzing. You've got some superb institutes. So you're here with me, Pig Brain, watching a phenomenal final, largely comprising of contestants from Pune. And arguably, Pune sometimes turns out to be the better among the Maharashtra battles simply because of the quality of the institutes that you tend to get there. But for the moment, all of that does not matter because it's a battle between the Puneites in a sense. One of them will win and move into the nation's top 24. For the moment, we'll take a look at the 6 who've qualified after grueling rounds on the internet, the preliminary rounds, and of course, the 2 wildcards that you just witnessed from the Pune sector or this cluster, which was organized in a really, really competitive manner, and Rashmi handled that. For now, of course, in this final, one of them is going to go through, so the tension is going to be very different. For now, let's take a look at who they are before we start playing Tata Crucible. Qualifying as our first finalist here today to represent this cluster from the College of Engineering, Pune, Prajot. Welcome to you, Prajot, to this final. You could have a nice wave from you. People would know who we are referring to. There you are. Lovely. As our second finalist representing the law fraternity is an aspiring lawyer from Pune in Sarthak, SLS from Pune. Yes. And as our third contestant representing SBS is Kedar. Welcome, Kedar, to our final. As we move across to NIBM Pune, representing them in this final is Manish. Welcome to you. Cutting across to 2 representatives qualifying from the Symbiosis Institute of Business Management from Pune, first among them, Ishan. Welcome to you. And completing our lineup with that salute from Ishan is Saksham. Welcome, Saksham. Those then are our 6 finalists here today as we're going to start playing Tata Crucible, the Pune final, if I may call it that. Well, 5 seconds is your window of opportunity to answer every question. The question lapses in 5 seconds. So it's the duration of time that the question would exist. All questions on the buzzer. The first 2 frontiers, I will give you some clues on the screen, apart from what I speak. The final frontier, nothing appears on your screen. It's only my word against your strategy. For the moment, We'll get started with the first frontier. 100 the value, one attempt. Remember, 100 you get it right, 100 you lose if you get it wrong. If you're ready and if you could hold up the buzzers, time for us to get onto what we call Get Swifter. Here it comes. As we start on the first frontier with all your hands on that buzzer and eyes on that screen, may the best qualify into the nation's top 24. The first one on your screen, here it comes. The third place is how Howard Schultz would call this. Go ahead. Home, work.
So this is Starbucks. So Howard Schultz is the founder of Starbucks. So he classified another place between work and home, which is a cafe, and that is Starbucks.
Extremely well played. First 100 and Prajot is off the mark. He'll get 100 early days though. As we go to the second one on your screens, which FMCG would you associate to this? Prajot again. Go
I'd
ahead.
say this is Unilever.
We'll give you another 100. Oh, he's starting early and is fast on the buzzers. So he's going to be putting pressure on everyone in terms of speed on the buzzer, I reckon. As we go to the third one on your screens now. Very important entity from the automobile business, and Saksham's gone for it. Yes, Saksham.
So this is the new logo of Kia Motors.
Clever, well played, 100. Oh, confident he was. He knew everything about Kia Motors and gets himself 100 in the bargain. As we go to the next one on your screens, here it comes. Which bank is this? Promoted by the Aga Khan Fund for Economic Development. Time lapsing on that one. The answer is the DCB Bank from the Aga Khan Fund for Economic Development. Tough one. As we go to the next one on your screens, careful, hold on. Here it comes. This is the Nagpur branch of Reserve Bank of India from Maharashtra. The question is, what does this branch hold of immense value in India? Ishan's going for it. Go ahead, Ishan.
The gold reserves.
The gold reserves of India are in the Nagpur branch. Extremely well played, 100. Oh, that's a good answer, not an easy question. They hold most of India's gold deposits, not necessarily all of them, but that is what makes that branch extremely unique. Well played for 100 and a golden 100. As we go to the next one, final one in the first frontier on your screen, here it comes. Which entity is behind these cold pressed juices? It's a startup called Raw Press. Which farm would you associate? Sarthak from Pune. Yeah, Sarthak.
So Windgreen Farms took over Raw Pressery. So
Clever.
my answer would be Wind.
Cleverly played. He figured what I was getting at. He got that absolutely right. Windgreen Farms. The word farms was extremely crucial to that question. Early days from the Pune final, but I'll tell you what, I'll tell you the scores after I've asked you a couple of audience questions. To all those of you following this quiz on the internet, wherever you're watching it, remember, all you got to do is to type your answer into the chat box, wherever you are watching it. And you stand to win fancy prizes from the world of Tatas. Attractive they are. As I'm going to ask you the first question in the audience, let me ask you this. You know, one of the nice things that's been happening at Tata Crucible, whether it's been the corporate edition where we had more than 1 million people watching it, or the campus edition, is we've actually got a lot of young school kids who have now started following Tata Crucible. Good for India, because they must be aspiring to be one of these institutes in the future. I wonder how many of you in class 8 or 9 would have followed a Tata Crucible, but today's India is doing that. So I've got a couple of questions which they can also crack and they appreciate. Early introduction to business for them. So here's one. In which film would you find the Booba Gump Shrimp Company? Aha. In which film would you find the Booba Gump Shrimp Company? You still want a clue from me? I'm being nice to you. Think Tom Hanks, one of my all-time favorite actors. I will ask you the next question. Here we go. Again, something child-friendly. Who owns the toy line Potato Head? Everyone knows Potato Head. Who owns it? Type your answers in quickly. As I get back to our contestants who are here today from the Maharashtra cluster of Tata Crucible, Crucible Quotient tells us it's an early start. Here it is. 3 of them are on 100 as it appears on your screen. Prajot with an early lead. He's on 200, but that's really not too much to tell. I'm sure Kedar and Manish will get onto that scorecard very quickly. As we move on to the second frontier of our battle here today, it's time for everyone to get sharper, literally play sharper. Here it comes. Request all of you to hold your buzzers up as we move into the second frontier with the first question on your screens now. In 2016, this gentleman's estate earned him 825 million, the highest yearly amount paid for a celebrity as recorded by Forbes. He became a statue on the River Thames in London. Who is this personality whose estates earned the highest yearly amount for a celebrity ever recorded by Forbes in that era? Nobody's on the buzzer. Statue of his which floated across the Thames. Great celebrity star. Kedar, just in the nick of time. Go ahead, Kedar.
Dwayne Johnson.
We'll give you a -100. Well, the answer, the one and only, Michael Jackson. Tough one as we go to the next one. Buzzer's up. Question on your screen. Prajot, if you could have your buzzer, please. Yeah, all right. Here's the next one on your screens. Now, he had earlier various positions at HDFC over a 2-decade career there. Today, he's on the board of Tata Chemicals and Tata Finance. His name is all I want. Tough one, but not tough in Maharashtra. Time ticking away. The answer that I was looking for is Nasser Munji, and turned out to be a tough one, but I thought it won't be tough in Pune. As we go to the next one on your screens, here it comes. This is the annual report of a famous company from the Tata Group. Which Tata enterprise are we talking about? A small little clue, a beautiful set of collage. Saksham?
This is Tata Elxsi.
Oh, a minus to you. He's lost the 100 he had got. The answer is Nelco. Many forget Nelco as a Tata company and a big one when it comes to communications. As we go to the next one on your screens now. Who is this great man in the world of design from the world of Apple? Prajot. Sarthak, I think, also went for it. Yes, Prajot.
So this is Jonathan Ive. So he's the designer behind most of Apple's good products. So he was the first he's the designer of be it Mac, iPod and iPhone. Jonathan Ive.
I like that statement. Most of Apple's good products. Do they have bad products? Apple will disagree. Well, you get 100 nonetheless on that one. But as we go to the next one, on your screens, hands on that buzzer, here it comes. This is a lady, a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. If her name is Sonia Singhal, which brand in the apparel space would you associate to her? Sarthak is taking a shot at it.
This is gap.
Beautiful answer. Beautiful answer. He's got 100 on that. The lady behind Gap will give him a 100. Sarthak well in the race. Prajot still managing to stay ahead as we go to the next one on screen now. This is an extremely important publication established in 1807 by Mr. Charles, who opened a print shop in Manhattan. They say knowledge for generations is all that we have published from 1807 to 2007. And they brought out a bicentennial special on everything they published. Sarthak.
Is this Wiley Publications?
Well, I see a book rack behind you which might well have a few Wileys there. Absolutely well cracked. Oh, beautiful. Every college student goes through his share of Wiley. What a publishing house. Absolutely well played for 100. The Pune quality is beginning to surface. They understand a lot of things, especially when it comes to areas like academics, brands, books, authors. Beautiful. Here's the next one on your screen. Tough one in my opinion. Now, focusing on fisheries and allied sectors in the domestic market, this is an entity which also specialized in fishing and sporting nets. Also manufactures technical textiles. How do you know them? Good one to ask in Maharashtra. Prajot.
So I'll say this is Garware. RB Garware.
Beautiful. Beautifully played. I think he played it very carefully. They're also well known for their wall ropes, which is why GWR. And he gets himself 100 and stays clear of Sarthak. The next one is a one-word answer that I'm looking for, and it's a crucial one word. Careful. Here it comes. What is being defined by the Reserve Bank of India when they say the letters RBI and 1000 can be viewed with the help of a magnifying glass in the zone between Mahatma Gandhi and the vertical band? What is this concept called by RBI? It's a concept used by most currency publishers, not just RBI. It's called something. No one's on the buzzer. Turns out to be a tough one. The answer is what's called the concept of micro lettering. It's an art and a science. It's very, very difficult to do micro lettering. RBI is one of the world's best at micro lettering. A lot of countries have consulted and sought advice from RBI on how to crack this. As we go to the next one, and here it comes on your screens now. The year was 1924. Sinclair and the Italian Ministry for National Economy created a 50-year joint venture agreement, essentially to explore oil in Romagna and Sicily. It led to the start of a famous company that you would find when cars race around on an F1 circuit. 4 letters for an answer. Prajot is giving it a shot. Go ahead. Prajot.
So I'll say this is Pirelli.
I said 4 letters for an answer, and I think he buzzed before I said that. Minus 100 to you. The answer is AGIP. AGIP. I think it's Azienda General Italian Petrol. However you say that in Italian, but those are the words essentially. As we go to the next one, lateral thinking required. If you could hold your buzzers up. And here's your next question on your screen. What do you make of it? Here it comes. All of these will lead you to a very large company. Plaques, Protex. Sarthak is taking a shot at it. Go ahead, Sarthak.
Is this
Giant.
Colgate?
It's who?
Colgate?
Very good. Very, very well played. He'll get himself 100 on that and take himself, I think, into the lead. I'm not too sure on my mental arithmetic on that, but I just think he's crossed Prajot for the first time. Prajot taking a negative, Sarthak taking a positive. These could be what I call tipping points in a quiz. As we go to the next one on your screen, the penultimate one in this frontier, here it comes. All of this will lead you to a very important entity from India. New about you. Kedar is giving it a shot. Go ahead, Kedar. Kedar needs another 100 to get back into the game. Yes.
Tower.
Is perfectly correct. I think the big clue there was real. And if you knew real, I think you would be able to fit everything else. And brings him to a nil, but that's important because staying for too long in the negatives is not good. So Kedar's back in the game. Final question on your screens. Careful. Here it comes. They recently bought a majority stake in the fintech company KUWY. You would also associate this automobile giant to the others. Sarthak's taking a shot.
This is Volkswagen.
If I do a Pune round without asking you something on Volkswagen, that would be an apology. Superbly played. He'll get himself 100 on Volkswagen. And undoubtedly, that puts Sarthak in the lead. But I'll tell you by how much after I ask you this audience question. Let me ask you an audience question, and here it is. Muhammad Yunus is an extremely respected social entrepreneur. All you got to tell me is which country is this Nobel laureate from. Key in your answers into those text boxes and you stand to win a prize. Let me quickly get back into our final because it's getting super exciting out here. The Maharashtra final, more so Pune, as we take a look at where Crucible Quotient is headed. On 100 is Ishan from SIBM Pune, and he's not scored since that 100. He needs to do that. Rajot has gained, lost, and that's brought him to 300. Sarthak's played out well towards the latter half of the first half of the quiz. So he is on 500. It's a good lead of 200 to have as we move into the final frontier because that distance of 200 will become very significant after 2 or 3 questions in the last round. So it's going to start playing psychologically on Prajot unless he's able to score quickly. But what Prajot is going to tell himself, in my view, is I need one good answer and then I'm just one answer away. That's how quizzers play. It's like chasing down targets in a cricket match. You go by the first 10 runs and then say, I've got another 10 to go. You don't go 20 at a time. So the final frontier is pretty much going to decide who's going to represent the second Maharashtra cluster in the nation's top 24. As we progress to the final frontier, time for them to not just be smart, but smarter. It's time to think smarter. Here it comes. In a world that all of us live in, the kind of uncertainties that embrace us is only compelling us to think swifter, sharper, and smarter. And that's exactly what our contestants are doing. In this round, you have the opportunity to think not just smart, but to outsmart your colleagues or contemporaries, and to press the buzzer when you think you know the answer, even if I'm reading out and I'm midway through the question. Nothing appears on your screen. So you have the privilege to decide when you want to stop me from reading the question. And I will stop the moment you press the buzzer because you're telling me you know the answer. Remember, 100 the value. The decision is yours on when you want to choose to press the buzzer. You can stop your opponent. 1 attempt, 100 the value. All of that remains the same. The final 6 questions will determine who goes into the nation's top 24. If you could all hold your buzzers up, we start with the first one. Hands on that buzzer. Here's my question. It's a species of cereal grain that's grown from its seed and is one of the most common in livestock feed. It's also associated with low blood cholesterol when consumed regularly. Hence, a lot of breakfast variants come with this word attached to their offerings. What is this, which is actually a cereal grain that's grown for its seeds? Yes, Saksham.
Is this flaxseed?
We'll give you a -100. Well, life can be tricky, but the answer is very simple. The oat. The oat, as in the oatmeal, is what I was talking about. So he gets himself a minus 100, but he took a chance on that and not a bad one. As we go to the second one, hands on the buzzer. We are the longest standing partners of the Olympic movement. We have supported every edition since 1928. During the Rio 2016 Olympics, we reached 500 million social media impressions on what's called the That's Gold campaign. Which great brand am I talking about? Sarthak.
This is Coca-Cola.
He's not playing the waiting game. He plays it and gets it. Takes him to 600. He's taking the initiative and not playing a safe game. It's always good to get an extra 100 when you're in the final round. And it's going to put a lot of pressure after the next question. The third one for now. At a point in time, I'm phrasing it carefully, at a point in time, they were referred to as the timekeepers to this nation. They offered India its first quartz watch, both analog and digital. They also offered the first watch for visually challenged people in India. Which giant are we talking about? Timekeepers to this nation. Sarthak again. It's a dicey chance to take, yes.
I think this is this Casio?
Casio, timekeepers to this nation, India. Well, minus 100 at a time when he does not want a minus 100. Sarthak's done what one would call an unforced error in a quiz competition. He just needed a little bit of patience. The answer is HMT. HMT was known as the timekeeper to the nation. Well, they would still call themselves that, but what a brand, and hasn't necessarily gone the right way as an enterprise. One does pray and hope these come back at a point in time, but 3 questions to go for now. Here's the next one. Careful. Crucial moments. He's opened a slight window for Prajot. What's going to unfold? This bank was founded by a group of preeminent patriotic personalities in the Kolhapur-Sangli belt in 1943. They were granted the status of a scheduled bank by the Reserve Bank of India in 1959. Sarthak again. Oh boy, he's taking his chances. Go ahead, Sarthak.
Is this the Kolhapur Urban Bank?
Sarthak, if you lose today, you're really going to kick yourself. Minus 100. Oh boy, what is he doing? He's taken 2 negatives while he was leading on 300. It's almost as if he's taken a bet with someone that he's going to lose today. And he wants to fulfill that. Stay calm, young man. Prajot is not complaining at all. The answer, Ratnakar Bank. Big creation from Maharashtra. 2 questions to go. Oh, we've got an outstanding situation. It's like throwing your wickets with 5 runs to win. Sarthak's really done the unthinkable. I don't know if Prajot knew HMT or RBL, but he's quiet because Sarthak's gifted him minus 200. 2 questions to go. All hands on the buzzer, all eyes on the screen. You're watching a riveting Tata Crucible here. 400, 300. Boy, oh boy. 2 questions remaining. Penultimate question. Here it is. This word is no modern word. It was coined way back in 1976. It, however, started gaining popularity only in the digital medium in 2012, slowly started dominating the space on our social media walls. It essentially, Ishan's gone for it. Go ahead, Ishan.
Is it emoji?
Oh, we'll give you another negative. Well, not another actually. He's getting his first negative, I think. We'll give him a negative. The answer is meme. A meme is no modern word. It's been around since 1976. The final question will determine whether it's going to be Prajot versus Sarthak. I just get a feeling Sarthak might just, I don't know what he'll do. He's unpredictable at this point in time. Maybe he's unpredictable for himself on how the hand presses the buzzer. But what I like about him is he's got a smile on his face. That's the spirit to have. At the end of the day, it's a sport. So play it like a sport. For the moment, final question. Prajot, all yours on. Here we go. Too often, businesses describe them as those who are loyal customers or usual fans of a business. In a particular faith or religion, it was the act of disseminating the gospel with the intention of sharing the message and the teachings of Jesus Christ, which led to this word, which is today commonly used in the world of business and marketing. What term am I describing? Prajot. 5 seconds of time literally for him. I think Sarthak is not going for it. Prajot, go ahead.
So Christian term might be mass. So I'll just say mass media.
Oh, he had to take a chance. He took a chance. The answer and the word I'm looking for is evangelist or evangelism. Sarthak will drink some really cold water after this quiz. He'll ask himself, man, what did I do here today? But at the end of the day, Prajot played a lovely game. These are close, tight finals which can go anywhere. Crucible quotient tells you why I make that comment. Here it comes. 200 for a runner-up. That's a low-scoring final. The others really not able to take off or taking off and falling back. Sarthak, the law aspirant from Pune, with 400. Well, boy, if you fight your cases in court like that, your patients are going to have, your customers are going to have a tough time. But he had the spirit to not get worried about it, and that's what matters. When you have a heart that is strong, it stands by you in every moment of despair. Sarthak, for the moment, will be happy he's in the nation's top 24. I'd like to believe he'll rethink his strategy when he's in the top 24 game and not volunteer a 200 negative like he did today. But nonetheless, he certainly helped make the quiz look far more interesting with those 2 negatives. As we are going to move straight into congratulating these youngsters for their remarkable performance at a city which is never easy to be in a quiz. The tight final explains that it's not the scores that reflect it, it's the caliber of the contestants which make it a tight contest. Like I said, it's only reflective of the fascinating institutes Pune gives to this country. We could not have got a better guest than the one we have, who in many ways is a flag bearer of learning and development. You'll probably run into him if ever you choose to have a career with the Tatas. Runs a fascinating center which really keeps the Tatas ahead of where they are in a literal sense by keeping their managers and their top leaders abreast with what's happening and challenges them to think. I think that's really how I look at the center that he leads. It provokes thought, it provokes ideation, it sparks innovation. That's really the core of what they do, and I've been a great admirer of the work that they do. Truly a pleasure and privilege, ladies and gentlemen, to have with us the director of TMTC Pune, which is the Tata Management Training Center. Ladies and gentlemen, your guest of honor, Mr. Emmanuel David. Thank you so much for joining us. Wonderful to have you with us at another Tata Crucible. I think you're so synergistic with the concept of a Tata Crucible that we quite can't look at anyone else when we come to your region. And it's been let me start with a question rather than have a reaction from you for the benefit of all these youngsters. They're on the cusp of entering their careers, perhaps some of them for the first time. And it's happening on the shadows of perhaps arguably the toughest year all of us in our lifetimes have faced. So as centers which focus heavily on research, which focuses on learning from research, what's your advice to these youngsters at a juncture like this, sir?
Thank you so much for having me here, Giri, and congratulations for the finalists, And I think that's a very pertinent question. And it's been a challenging year for many people. I mean, why only for the youngsters? For all professionals. And many in the beginning of the pandemic were fearing job loss. And what is interesting in the Tata Management Training Center, we thought we should at least enable people to know that learning is one thing which gives them continued sustenance and sustainability, you know. And that meant, and you've been to the center, Giri, we've had no physical programs since a year. Okay, which meant about 40 of my staff who were into cooking and butlers and room boys and housekeeping had no job. So what did we do? We had regular communication with them. I'm telling you, some of them have not even passed their 10th standard. But they've taken up carpentry, they've taken up electrical work, they've taken up plumbing, and also one person took up driving. Now for me, it's just a microcosm of what learning can help. And that has given them a sense of confidence. For us, let's give livelihoods to people. And when we do that, it's also possible for others. And I must really happy to tell you, in the Tata Group, in this current year, we've run more than 105 programs, over 1,050 sessions or so, and more than 4,000 people have come for programs, and for our webinars, we've had more than 80,000 people attending. Now, what does it mean? There is learning happening, and for each of them who are here, learning is key. That is the edge, competitive edge. And then how you apply it, my friends, just one thing, take the initiative. Everybody is wobbling around, and you've got the energy, take the initiative with the learning you have, and you're going to make a difference to whichever place you are working. People would like folks like you with the energy, the intellect, but initiative is the differentiator.
So well put. I really think we should capture that as a quote from you. I think you've really said that well. Thank you so much. Truly, truly appreciate the time you take out to be with us. Every time we request you for your time to be at a Tata Crucible, I'll just ask you to stand by for 5 seconds as we do the digital honors to our two champions here today. In a remarkable final, Prajot will keep telling himself, well, I should have taken fewer negatives and I could have been in a better contest situation, but then both did their jobs in different ways. Finishing runner-up here today from the College of Engineering, Pune, Prajot. Well done, he wins himself 18,000 rupees as the runner-up in a tough city, while Sarthak will walk into the nation's top 24 as the champion. The law aspirant from Pune will win from Symbiosis Law School and represent them in the nation's top 24. Congratulations, Sarthak. Well done. And ladies and gentlemen, it's really a pleasure and privilege to thank our guest of honor. Truly appreciate your presence, sir, and your continued patronage for this learning initiative from the Tata Group. Truly appreciate you. Thanks a lot, sir.
No, most welcome, most welcome. And congratulations to the winners. Congratulations to all of you for also participating. I think, again, as I say, it's not the winning, but, you know, sometimes the learning happens in the whole journey. You know, I think each of us are winners because the learning you get. So whatever you've done, and maybe you missed it out in something, and I'm not trying to offer words of consolation, but it's going to come back to you much later, you know, in your journey of life. So greatly appreciate your participating in the Tata Crucible and, you know, making it what it is. I mean, if you're not there, you know, it wouldn't be there. So we're very glad that you're there. Back to you, Giri.
So true. Thank you so much, sir. Hopefully we'll catch you in Pune and hopefully I'll be back on your campus.
Most definitely. Looking forward.
Do look forward. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, a man who really is the flag bearer of learning, our guest of honor here today. What a lovely message he had. Beyond the intellect, it is your initiative that is the differentiator. We'll carry that with us, but we've got a remarkable final, which gives us a champion in the form of Sarthak, who we take forward to the nation's top 24. But ladies and gentlemen, to all of you watching this fascinating final, this is the second leg of Maharashtra. We've got one more to go from Maharashtra, which is also the rest of Maharashtra. Goa added to it. for the geographies that we have created. But for now, thank you for tuning in and watching the second leg of Maharashtra with me, Pig Brain, and my young colleague Rashmi. Till we come back to you with the next cluster, stay tuned, stay safe. Thank you for joining us.